Troilus and Cressida. William Shakespeare's Troilus and Cressida. Geoffrey Chaucer's Troilus and Cressida. Summary and analysis. Hello and welcome to the discourse. We are discussing Shakespearean plays. Shakespeare wrote Troilus and Cressida in 1602. One of the major sources for this Shakespearean play was Sir Geoffrey Chaucer's epic poem Troilus and Cressida that he wrote in 1380s. While Chaucer's Canterbury Tales is the most popular work by him, many critics and literary analysts believe that Troilus and Cressida was Chaucer's finest work, and while the Canterbury Tales is an incomplete work, Troilus and Cressida is a complete epic poem. Chaucer's epic Troilus and Cressida. All good things must come to an end. Chaucer's Troilus and Cressida is the most probable source for this famous phrase. Chaucer drew inspirations for his epic poem from Boccaccio's second Philostrato, which was written in 1335. The main characters of this poem are Achilles, the Greek warrior; Antenor, a soldier held captive by the Greeks; Calchas, a soothsayer and father of Cressida; Diomed, a Greek who woos Cressida at her father's behest; Helen, wife of Menelaus, lover of Prince Paris; Pandarus, uncle of Cressida, supporter of Troilus; Priam, king of Troy; Cassandra, daughter of Priam, a prophetess, worshipper of Apollo; Hector, fierce Trojan warrior, eldest son of King Priam; Troilus, youngest son of King Priam, lover of Cressida, brother of Hector and Paris; Deiphobus, the third son of King Priam. Now let us discuss summary of Chaucer's Troilus and Cressida first. During the long war of Trojans and Greeks, a Trojan soothsayer Calchas foresees the fall of Troy and decides to abandon Troy in favor of Greeks. As he runs away, his daughter Cressida is criticized for her father's deeds. The whole war of Troy was based on the love of Prince Paris and Helen, the wife of Menelaus. Troilus, the youngest son of King Priam, publicly mocks love and claims that he cannot fall for any woman in the world. The god of love gets angry and punishes him by being love-stricken with irreconcilable desire for Cressida. Troilus sees Cressida passing through the temple and falls in love with her, as the curse of god of love fructifies. Cressida's uncle Pandarus helps Troilus and Cressida and they start exchanging love letters. Pandarus then plans to urge Cressida and Troilus to share the bed for a night and confirm their love for each other. Troilus is not sure of the plan and decides to decline. However, Pandarus and Cressida cajoles him and he spends a night of bliss with Cressida. In the camp of Greeks, Calchas is worried about her daughter. Eventually, he persuades Greeks to exchange her daughter for the return of a Trojan soldier, Antenor, who was imprisoned by Greeks. Prince Hector objects to this exchange, and so does Troilus. However, Troilus doesn't announce his love for Cressida openly. Despite the opposition of Hector and Troilus, King Priam agrees for the exchange of Cressida to get Antenor free. Troilus consults with Cressida and tells her to elope with him. However, Cressida offers a logical argument against eloping. She says that she will deceive her father and return to Troy to be with Troilus by the 10th day of her exchange. Troilus feels that he is about to lose Cressida forever, but he couldn't do anything, so he bids farewell to her. In the Greek camp, Cressida realizes the difficulties and improbability of her being able to keep her promise made to Troilus. She starts dismissing his letters. Her father suggests her to meet a Greek man, Diomed, and she accepts meeting him on the 10th day of her arrival in the Greek camp. Diomed woos her and eventually she accepts Diomed's love proposal. Pandarus and Troilus wait for Cressida but she doesn't arrive. Pandarus accepts that Cressida will never return, and eventually Troilus also accepts this, but he is heartbroken. Pandarus tries to offer condolences to him, but he is in deep despair. Chaucer then apologizes for giving a bad name for women and gives a brief account of death of Troilus in the battle and his ascent to the eighth sphere. Chaucer dedicates this poem to John Gower and Strode and offers a moral essence of the story about the transience of earthly joy and inadequacies of paganism. And then he ends this poem. Shakespeare's Troilus and Cressida. William Shakespeare's play was not only based on Chaucer's epic poem Troilus and Cressida and hence on Boccaccio's work, but he also took inspirations from John Lydgate's Troy book and Caxton's translation of Requiem of the Histories of Troy. Shakespeare's drama shows the story of Troilus and Cressida, but Shakespeare spends more time in depicting the Trojan War and how Achilles was persuaded to fight one-to-one battle against Hector. Shakespeare's source for this war depiction was George Chapman's translation of Homer's Iliad. Shakespeare's Troilus and Cressida is set in the timeline in between Achilles' refusal to fight and Hector's death. The smaller plot of Shakespeare's play is the love story of Troilus and Cressida and how she was exchanged for a soldier. The major plot of Shakespeare's play revolves around the later years of Trojan War, King Priam, Achilles, Ajax, Hector, and Agamemnon. Cassandra comes to the court and begs King Priam to return Helen to the Greeks or the Troy will fall. King Priam rejects Cassandra as a mad woman. While Hector supports the idea of returning Helen to end the war, Paris and Troilus objects. King Priam then says that it is not about the love of Paris for Helen, rather it is about the respect of Helen, which is now the respect of Troy. Hector agrees to this and vows to win the war. Hector announces a one-to-one battle with any Greek soldier to end the long-going war. Achilles has renounced the battle. Agamemnon tries to persuade Achilles to fight against Hector, but Achilles rejects. Agamemnon then plans to send Ajax to fight against Hector. However, Ajax also makes peace with Hector and doesn't fight. At the end, Patroclus is sent to fight Hector. Hector, being the best Trojan warrior, kills Patroclus, who is a dear servant and friend of Achilles. After hearing about the death of Patroclus, Achilles decides to return to the battleground to fight against Hector and take revenge of the death of Patroclus. Shakespeare presented Pandarus as a lecherous, degenerate man, while Chaucer's depiction of Pandarus was not that negative. Also, Shakespeare's tragedy is much blacker in tone. So this was all about William Shakespeare's tragedy Troilus and Cressida. We have discussed the summary of Chaucer's epic poem Troilus and Cressida too. We will continue to discuss Elizabethan literature in upcoming videos. Please stay connected with the discourse. Thanks and regards.